The twin suns were setting over the red desert plains of Epsilon Ridge, painting the sky in strange colors, orange, violet, and burning gold. Dust swirled in the wind, brushing against the walls of a small wooden hut that stood alone near the canyon's edge. It looked like a piece of the old Earth West, but it was not Earth. This was New Terra Colony, a place where humans and aliens lived uneasily side by side. Inside that hut, a small figure moved quickly. Her hands trembled as she closed the shutters and bolted the door. Her name was Sira, a tiny alien woman with soft gray-blue skin and eyes that shimmered like liquid silver. She had been on this planet for only 3 months, hiding from people who would never understand her, and tonight she could feel danger in the wind. Sira pressed her hand against her belly, or what looked like a pouch. Inside, something shifted weakly. Her child, barely 2 weeks old. She whispered in her language, "Stay quiet, my little one, please. Stay quiet." Then came the sound. Footsteps. Heavy, slow human footsteps on the gravel outside. Her heart jumped. Humans didn't come this far from the colony town, especially not after dark. She reached for the small energy pistol she kept on the table, but her hand shook too much to hold it steady. The footsteps stopped right outside the door. "Hello?" A man's voice called out, deep, rough, and tired. "Anyone home?" Sira froze. The voice was human and male. The door creaked as he pushed lightly. "It's okay, I don't mean no harm," he said again. "I just need some water. Maybe a place to rest for the night." Sira's breathing quickened. She could hear his boots shift in the dust, the sound of his jacket brushing against the doorframe. She whispered through the wood, her voice shaking. "Don't step inside. Please don't." Silence. Then a low chuckle. "That's a strange way to welcome a man," he said. "Name's Cole Danner. I'm a rancher from South Ridge. My speeder broke down 5 miles back." "I don't care," Sira said. "You can't come in." Cole leaned closer to the door. His hat shadowed his face, but his tone softened. "Ma'am, it's getting cold out here. I ain't looking for trouble. Just a bit of kindness." The word cut into her heart. It had been so long since anyone spoke kindly to her. But she remembered the warnings. Humans on this planet didn't trust her kind. They said her species were thieves, spies, or worse. If he saw what she truly was, or saw her child, he would tell the colonists. They would come for her. Sira gripped her weapon tighter. "I said don't step inside." But Cole didn't move away. Instead, he sighed and sat down on the porch. "All right then," he said calmly. "I'll just sit out here. You can keep your door locked. Don't worry, I ain't gonna force nothing. I just need to wait till morning. Maybe then I can fix my speeder." Sira hesitated. He wasn't shouting or threatening. His voice had something honest in it, a kind of weariness that reminded her of someone who had lost much too. Minutes passed. The wind howled. The cold crept in through the cracks in the walls. Her baby made a small, weak cry. Sira bit her lip. The sound was soft, but Cole must have heard it. "That a baby?" he asked gently through the door. Sira's pulse stopped. "No," she said quickly, too quickly. Cole smiled faintly. "You don't gotta lie, ma'am. I know the sound of a baby. My sister had 4 of them before the war." Sira said nothing. She just stood there, trembling. She didn't want him to ask questions. She didn't want him to know. Then a noise. A low hum in the distance. Cole turned his head toward the desert. "You hear that?" Sira did. And she knew what it was. A hunter drone. The colony used them to search for unregistered beings. If the drone passed nearby, it would detect her energy signature, and her child's. She moved quickly, turning off the lantern and grabbing a small cloaking device. The baby whimpered again and she whispered, "Please, my love, please be quiet." Outside, Cole stood up. "Hey, what's that light?" He saw a flicker in the distance, blue scanning beams sweeping over the land. Then the sound grew louder. The drone was heading straight toward the hut. Inside, Sira's heart raced. She looked at the door, then at the window. The only way to survive was to activate the shield, but that would block all life signs inside, and she needed to be alone for it to work. If a human stayed near the hut, the drone would detect both of them and alert the patrols. She rushed to the door. "Go, you must leave now." "What? Why?" Cole asked, confused. "Is someone coming?" "Please," she begged. "Don't step inside. Don't stay near. If you care about your life, go." Cole stared at the closed door. He couldn't see her face and only hear the fear in her voice. Something in his gut told him this wasn't just about a baby or mistrust. There was something bigger, something dangerous. The drone's light flashed against the canyon wall, closer now. Cole looked toward it, then back at the hut. And then, he made his choice. He took a step toward the door. Sierra's eyes widened in horror. "No!" she cried out. "Don't step inside." But it was too late. The door creaked open. The light from the drone hit them both. And in that instant, everything changed. The light from the drone cut through the darkness like a blade, sharp, blue, and merciless. Cole froze halfway through the doorway, his hand still holding the old wooden frame. Sierra's heart stopped. For a second, she couldn't even breathe. The drone hovered above the hut, its engines humming like angry bees. It scanned the area with glowing red sensors, sending beams of light over the roof and across the sand. Cole's shadow flickered against the wall, and Sierra's silver eyes reflected the glow. "Get down," she whispered harshly. She pulled him inside and slammed the door shut. Cole stumbled, confused. "What the hell's going on?" "Quiet," Sierra hissed. Her small hands moved quickly over a strange device on the table, a circular plate with glowing runes. The baby whimpered from the corner, and Sierra winced. "Please, not now." Cole took a step closer. You're not human, are you?" The words hung heavy in the air. Sierra froze. Her shoulders shook, but she didn't answer. Cole looked around the dim room, saw the small nest-like cradle in the corner, made from desert reeds and wrapped in soft, glowing fabric. Inside it, the baby's eyes gleamed faintly, blue, not like any human child's. Cole's breath caught. "Lord above," he whispered. That's a child." Sierra turned toward him, eyes blazing with fear. "You have to leave, now. The drone will scan this place for life signs. If it finds you with me, you'll be marked as a traitor." "Traitor?" he said, frowning. "For what? Helping a mother and her kid?" She didn't answer, just pressed a button on the device. The air shimmered around them. The hut walls glowed faintly for a second, then went dark again. "What did you do?" Cole asked. "Cloaking field," she whispered. "It hides my energy. But it won't last long." Her voice trembled. "If the drone scans again, it might overload." Cole peeked through a small crack in the shutter. The blue beam swept closer, humming like thunder. He turned back. "How'd you end up here, lady?" Sierra hesitated. Then in a soft voice she said, "My people were hunted. We came from the outer moon seeking refuge. The humans promised peace, but when they saw what we could do..." She looked down, eyes full of pain. "They changed their minds." Cole felt something twist in his chest. "What you could do?" She didn't answer, just looked toward her baby. "My kind can heal. Our blood carries light, real light. The colonists wanted to use it, to make soldiers stronger, to make weapons live longer. They took everyone I knew." Her voice cracked. I ran. Outside, the drone beeped sharply. Cole's jaw clenched. "Sounds like it's found something." Sierra's hands shook as she held her child closer. "Please don't let them see us, please." Cole didn't know what made him move. Instinct, maybe, or guilt. But he stepped toward the window, grabbed his old revolver, and aimed at the sound. "Get back," he said. "Don't." Sierra whispered. "You can't fight a drone. It'll kill you in seconds." Cole's lips tightened. "Ain't about fightin'. It's about buying time." Before Sierra could stop him, he kicked open the back door and stepped outside. The night wind hit him, full of sand and static. The drone spun toward him instantly, red lights locking on. Cole fired 1, 2, 3 shots, sparks bouncing off its metal hull. The shots did nothing, but they drew its attention. The drone's voice boomed in the dark. "Unregistered human presence detected. Identify." Cole raised his hands. "Name's Cole Danner. Just lost my speeder, that's all." "Energy readings inconsistent," the machine replied coldly, scanning for secondary signatures. Cole knew what that meant. It was scanning for Sierra and the baby. Inside the hut, Sierra whispered something in her language. Her hands glowed faintly blue, and her child stopped crying. She reached for a tiny crystal embedded in the wall, a power core. Her energy flowed into it like light through water. Cole could see the drone turning back toward the hut. He grit his teeth, picked up a rock, and shouted, "Hey! You want energy? Try this!" He threw the rock with all his strength. It hit the drone's scanner lens. Barely a scratch, but enough to distract it. The drone turned its weapon arm toward him. A beam of red light charged, humming louder, brighter, and then Sierra ran out of the hut. Her eyes blazed with silver fire, her small body shining like the stars. She raised her hand and the light from her skin expanded, wrapping around Cole. The beam from the drone hit the light and scattered like dust. Cole fell back, stunned. "What in?" Sierra cried out, collapsing to her knees. Her energy shield flickered. The baby inside the hut began to wail again. The drone adjusted, scanning faster. Unknown biosignature detected. Alerting patrol units, Cole's stomach dropped. "They're coming." He grabbed Sierra, pulling her to her feet. "We gotta go." "I can't," she gasped weakly. The baby, he didn't hesitate. He ran inside, scooped up the small child and so tiny it fit in one arm, and ran back out. "Got him. Now move." Sierra looked up at him, tears glimmering. Why are you helping me?" Cole didn't even look back. "Because no one else will." He pulled her toward the canyon ridge as the drone fired again, the beam missing them by inches. The sand exploded behind them and smoke filled the air. They ran until their lungs burned, until the sound of the drone faded behind the rocks. Finally, they collapsed behind a boulder, panting. Sierra held her child close, whispering thanks to the stars. Cole leaned against the stone, sweating and bruised. For a long moment, they just breathed in silence. Then Cole said quietly, "Whatever that thing was back there, it's not done hunting you, is it?" Sierra looked at him, her eyes shimmering in the moonlight. "No," she whispered. "It's not just hunting me. It's hunting what's inside my child." The desert was quiet again, too quiet. The stars above New Terra shimmered cold and distant, watching two small figures hide among the canyon rocks. Cole Danner sat with his back against the stone, his breath heavy, his revolver empty. Beside him, Sierra cradled her child in trembling arms. The baby glowed faintly, tiny blue sparks dancing beneath his translucent skin. Cole couldn't stop staring. "He's..." "Lighten up," he whispered. Sierra hushed him quickly. "Don't speak too loud. They can still track sound vibrations." Her voice was soft but tense, like a string about to snap. Cole nodded slowly, trying to understand what he was seeing. "That ain't no normal glow. What's wrong with him?" Sierra looked down at the child. "Nothing's wrong. He's not sick, he's changing." "Changing into what?" Her silver eyes lifted toward him, full of sadness. "Into what my people were born to be, keepers of light. He's growing faster than expected. His body is learning how to hold what's inside him." Cole frowned. "And what's that exactly?" She hesitated. "A star fragment," Cole blinked. "Come again?" Sierra touched the baby's chest gently. "When my world was dying, our scientists tried to save life by merging light itself with flesh. Only a few survived. My child carries the last living spark of that experiment, a heart made from starfire. It gives life, it heals. But to humans it's worth more than gold." Cole's jaw tightened. He understood now. That was why the drones were after her. So they want the kid for what's inside him. "Yes," she whispered. "They will take him, cut him open, and use his heart to make weapons. Just like they did to his father." Her voice cracked. Cole didn't ask about the father. He could see in her eyes that the story hurt too much. For a moment, the only sound was the wind brushing over the rocks. The faint hum of engines echoed somewhere far off, the patrol drones still searching. Cole looked up at the sky. "If we stay here, they'll find us before sunrise." "I know," Sierra said softly. "But the baby cannot travel far. His energy is unstable. If it leaks, the scanners will pick it up." Cole leaned forward. "There's an old mine about 5 miles west. Used to hide my cattle when sandstorms hit. Maybe we can get there before the patrols circle back." Sierra's eyes widened with a flicker of hope. "Can they scan underground?" "Not through lead rock. That mine's full of it." She looked down at her child again, hesitating. "If we move, I'll have to dampen his light. It'll hurt him." Cole placed a hand on her shoulder and firm, steady. "Then we go slow. I ain't letting them touch either of you. Not while I'm breathing." Her eyes met his. Alien, luminous, but filled with the same pain and strength he'd seen in human mothers long ago. For the first time, she trusted him. They began walking through the canyon under the twin moons, moving quietly over the sand. Cole led the way with a small flashlight, the beam barely visible. Sierra followed close behind, holding her baby under a worn blanket. Every few minutes, they stopped to listen for the drone's hum. Cole spoke in a low voice as they walked. Never thought I'd see the day humans would hunt women and kids again. Guess even on New Worlds, old sins don't die. Sierra's lips trembled. Your kind fears what it cannot understand. But I have seen kindness too. I've seen humans who share food with strangers, who bury their dead with love. That is why I hoped one would help me. Cole gave a faint, sad smile. Guess you found one. By dawn, the canyon narrowed into a valley of stone teeth. Cole spotted a half-collapsed tunnel carved into the cliffside. That's it, he said. Old silver mine. We'll be safe there for a while. They slipped inside, their footsteps echoing in the hollow dark. The air was cool and heavy with dust. Cole set down his pack and searched for a dry spot. Sierra laid the baby down gently on a blanket. His glow had faded to a soft pulse, like a heartbeat made of light. Cole knelt beside her. You said his energy's unstable. What happens if it leaks? Sierra looked up. It depends. If too much escapes, it could draw every sensor within 100 miles. But if his body can't hold it? She swallowed hard. He will burn from the inside. Cole's stomach turned. There's got to be something we can do. There is, she said quietly. He needs energy from someone strong, a transfer. It keeps his heart balanced, but my strength is fading. I've given all I can, Cole frowned. You mean someone else can help him? She nodded. If the donor's heart is pure, he chuckled softly. Lady, I ain't no saint, she smiled faintly. You're a human. That's enough. Sierra took a small crystal from her satchel, the same one she used to power the shield. She held it out to him. Touch this and think of something you love. Truly love. Cole hesitated, then placed his rough, scarred hand over the crystal. He thought of his sister, long gone. Of the ranch that once stood in peace before the wars. Of the stars he used to stare at when he still believed in second chances. The crystal glowed softly, and Sierra guided his hand over the baby's chest. Light flowed from Cole's palm into the child, warm, gentle, pure. The baby's breathing steadied. The glow inside him became calm again, steady like sunrise. Sierra's eyes filled with tears. You saved him. Cole looked down at his hand, still glowing faintly blue. Felt like touching heaven, he whispered. For the first time since the night began, she smiled. Truly smiled. But before peace could settle, the ground trembled. A low rumble rolled through the mine, followed by a metallic whine. Cole's eyes narrowed. What was that? Sierra's smile vanished. They found us. Outside, the sky lit up with searchlights. The sound of engines filled the valley again. The patrols were closing in. Cole stood, cocking his revolver even though it was empty. Then we make our stand. Sierra shook her head. No, you can't fight them all. Cole's voice was steady. Ain't about fighting. It's about protecting something worth dying for. He turned toward the tunnel entrance, ready to face whatever came next, while behind him, the child of light began to glow again, brighter than ever before. The rumble grew louder, shaking dust loose from the cave ceiling. Cole could hear the faint metallic clatter of patrol drones echoing through the canyon outside. Their red searchlights painted streaks across the rock walls, growing brighter with every second. Sierra clutched her baby close. They've locked onto us, she whispered, panic in her voice. They're triangulating our heat signals. The shielding isn't enough anymore. Cole checked his revolver. 3 bullets left and one of them was cracked. Then we'll just have to be louder than their machines, he muttered. He stood up, his worn jacket brushing against the mine wall. Sierra reached for his arm. No, you'll die if you go out there. Cole gave a crooked grin. I've done my dying before, lady. Just didn't stick. Sierra stared at him, unsure if he was joking or broken. She could see the exhaustion on his face and the rough lines, the dried blood on his knuckles, but also something else. Something human and wild. Determination. He looked back toward the baby, who now slept quietly, light flickering under his skin like a heartbeat made of stars. That kid's got something special, Cole said softly. If they take him, they'll turn that light into fire. I ain't letting that happen. The sound of metal boots echoed through the valley. Not just drones, soldiers. Human ones, Sierra's breath caught. They sent ground forces. Cole peeked out through a crack in the rocks. A line of armored figures marched toward the mine entrance, weapons glowing faintly blue. Their helmets bore the insignia of the Colonial Enforcement Division, the same ones who burned Sierra's camp months ago. He cursed under his breath. They brought plasma rifles. Great. The squad leader raised a scanner. Thermal signature confirmed, he said through a static-filled speaker. 1 human, 1 unknown entity, and 1 infant energy source. Orders are to capture the alien alive and terminate the accomplice. Cole felt the anger rise in his chest like fire. He turned to Sierra. You stay behind that rock. Don't move till I say. She shook her head. You can't fight them all. Watch me. Before she could stop him, he stepped out of the shadows and into the open cave mouth. The soldiers froze for a second, surprised to see a dusty cowboy standing against the glow of their rifles. Cole lifted his hand slowly. Evening, boys, he said with a lazy drawl. You're trespassing on private property. Step away from the alien, the leader ordered. Now, Cole squinted at them. You ever stop to think maybe she ain't the monster here? Orders are orders. Cole smirked. Yeah, that's what every monster says. The soldiers moved in formation, spreading out. Cole waited, fingers twitching near his holster. The leader raised his weapon. Last warning. Cole drew first. The gunfire echoed like thunder in the narrow canyon. The first soldier dropped. The others fired back, plasma bolts burning holes into the rock. Cole dove behind a boulder, the air sizzling around him. He reloaded, fired again, missed by inches. Inside the cave, Sierra whispered a desperate prayer in her language. The baby stirred, glowing brighter now as if sensing his mother's fear. Then, the impossible happened. The light from the child's body spread across the ground, crawling like liquid silver toward the cave entrance. It reached Cole's boots and wrapped around him, pulsing once before sinking into his skin. Cole gasped. His veins lit up faint blue beneath his flesh. His vision sharpened. The world slowed down. He could feel the rhythm of every heartbeat around him, even the soldiers. He looked at his hands in shock. What the hell? From deep inside the cave, Sierra whispered, tears in her eyes. The light chose you. The soldiers advanced again, but now Cole moved like lightning. He dodged plasma fire with inhuman speed, slammed his fist into a soldier's armor, and the metal dented like soft clay. Sparks exploded as his revolver glowed with the same light flowing through his veins. He didn't kill them all, just enough to make them scatter. Tell your bosses, he shouted, voice echoing across the rocks. If they want her, they'll have to go through me. The surviving soldiers fell back, calling for reinforcements. One of them fired a flare into the sky, red light rising like blood. Cole knew what that meant. We got 5 minutes, maybe less. He ran back inside, chest glowing faintly. Sierra stared at him in awe and fear. You're connected to him now. His energy runs through you. That shouldn't be possible. Guess nobody told the kid that, Cole said, panting. Can you move? She nodded, clutching her child. But where will we go? They'll track us again. There's an old ridge past the canyon, Cole said. Under it, a system of tunnels, and smugglers used them years ago. If we can reach that, maybe we can disappear. Sierra bit her lip. You don't have to do this, Cole. You've already risked enough. Cole looked at her, truly looked at her. The fear, the hope, the way she held that child like it was the last piece of goodness left in the universe. Lady, he said softly, risking my life ain't the same as losing my soul. And watching them take you would do that. Her eyes glistened. She wanted to say thank you, but no words came. They left the mine before dawn, slipping through the shadows while the colony soldiers regrouped. The baby's light dimmed under Sierra's control, hidden from scanners. Cole's own glow had faded, but something inside him still burned, a strange warmth that wasn't just energy. It was purpose. They climbed the ridge slowly, silent except for the wind. Behind them, the horizon began to glow red. Not sunrise, but fires from the mine they'd escaped. Sierra stopped halfway up, looking back. They'll never stop, will they? Cole shook his head. No, not till they catch what they don't understand. She looked down at her child. Then we have to make them understand. Cole raised a brow. And how you plan on doing that? Sierra's voice was quiet but strong. By showing them what this light can do, not destroy but heal. Cole smiled faintly. You sound crazy, she smiled back. So do you. As they disappeared into the ridge, a drone hovered high above, its red lens tracking them through the smoke. A human voice spoke through its comms. Target alive. Cowboy infected with alien energy. Authorization to capture both him dead or alive. The drone turned and shot off toward the rising sun, leaving behind the faint echo of engines. and two fugitives running toward a destiny neither of them yet understood. The first light of dawn broke across the desert like spilled fire. Cole Danner trudged through the endless dunes, his breath heavy, his hands trembling with something he didn't understand. Behind him, Sira walked silently, her baby wrapped close against her chest. Every few steps she glanced at him, not with fear but with concern. Cole's veins still glowed faintly under his skin, a slow blue shimmer that pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. It wasn't natural. It wasn't human. And it burned, not painfully but like something alive trying to speak through him. "You need to rest," Sira said softly. "Your body isn't built to hold that kind of energy." Cole stopped and turned to her. "I'm fine." But he wasn't. He could feel the light moving inside him like a second pulse, whispering thoughts he couldn't fully hear. He touched his chest and stared at his hand. It glowed again, faint and soft. He muttered half to himself. "Feels like it's got a mind of its own." Sira stepped closer. "The connection between you and my child. It's rare. The light chose you for a reason. It senses your heart, my heart." Cole scoffed. "Lady, I've done more wrong than right. If that light's got sense, it picked the wrong man." Sira shook her head gently. "The light doesn't see what you've done. It sees what you can do." They walked on through the burning day until they reached the canyon's far side, a place where sharp black cliffs hid the entrance to a forgotten tunnel system. The old smuggler's passage. Cole knelt by the rocks, brushing away dust to reveal a metal hatch half buried under sand. "Here," he said. "Should still open." Sira looked around nervously. "What if they find us again?" Cole smirked. "Then we make sure they don't live to report it." He gripped the hatch wheel, twisted hard, and pushed it open with a groan of rust. The air that came out was cool, stale, and safe. They stepped inside. The darkness swallowed them. Cole flicked on a small lamp from his belt, its weak light revealing old tunnels carved deep into stone, littered with crates and metal scraps. Sira sighed with relief. "We can rest here." Cole sat down heavily against a wall. He took off his hat and wiped the sweat from his brow. "Rest sounds good." But as soon as he closed his eyes, flashes filled his mind. Blinding visions of stars, explosions, and voices he didn't know. He saw Sira's world burning. He saw people made of light being dragged by soldiers. He saw the same insignia, the Colonial Enforcement Division, branding their symbols on living flesh. Cole gasped and opened his eyes. His heart raced. The baby sleeping nearby glowed softly in the dark. Sira noticed. "You saw something, didn't you?" He nodded slowly. "Your planet. What happened to it? I saw it. Like a memory that wasn't mine." Sira's face turned pale. "The light is showing you its past. My people's pain lives inside it." Cole stared at her. "Your child carries all that?" "Yes," she said. "That's why the humans fear him. The light remembers everything. Every act of cruelty, every broken promise. If it grows too strong, it can judge those around it." Cole frowned. "Judge?" Sira met his eyes. "The light was created to heal. But when it senses evil, it destroys instead." Before Cole could respond, the ground trembled again. He stood up fast, hand on his revolver. Then came a new sound. Not machines this time, but voices. Human voices. "They're here," Sira whispered. Cole cursed under his breath and peeked through the tunnel slit. 5 figures approached the canyon. Rough men in scavenger gear, not soldiers. "Bounty hunters," he muttered. "They must have tracked the patrol's flare." Sira pulled her child close. "Will they take us to the colony?" "Not if I stop them first." Cole stepped into the tunnel entrance where sunlight spilled in thin strips. His body still hummed with faint energy, and he could feel the world sharper now. Every footstep, every breath, every lie before it was spoken. The lead bounty hunter grinned when he saw him. "Well, look who we got here, the glowing cowboy. Heard you're worth double if you're alive." Cole tilted his head. "You boys sure you want to test that theory?" They laughed, drawing their plasma rifles. "You ain't bulletproof, old man." Cole smiled faintly. "Ain't sure about that anymore." The first shot rang out. Cole moved before it hit, faster than thought. He fired once, twice, 3 times. Each bullet glowed blue and found its mark. The bounty hunters dropped one by one, light searing through their armor. When the last one fell, silence returned, except for the faint hum from Cole's hands. He stared down at them, shaken. I didn't even aim, he whispered. Sierra stepped out of the shadows, her eyes wide. The light is protecting you now. It sees you as one of us. Cole looked at his glowing hands again. Then it's making a mistake. I ain't no hero, she walked closer. Maybe not, but you're human, and sometimes that's enough. Hours passed. The heat faded as night returned. Cole sat by the tunnel entrance, watching the stars. Sierra lay nearby with her child, finally asleep. He looked up at the sky and sighed. I used to think light and dark were just places, one you live in, one you die in. But now, he looked at his glowing fingers. Now it feels like they're both inside me. The baby stirred, a soft hum filling the air. The glow in his chest pulsed, stronger this time. Sierra woke instantly, her instincts sharp. Something's happening. The light from the baby spread again, but this time it didn't stop. It flowed up the walls, along the floor into the tunnels, and spreading like a heartbeat through stone. Cole stood alarmed. What's he doing? Sierra's eyes widened in shock. He's calling them. Calling who? Others like me, she whispered. The ones who are still hiding. He's sending a signal across the planet. Cole stepped back, eyes wide. You mean there's more of you out there? Yes, she said. And now they'll come. The light brightened, flooding the tunnels with warmth. Far above, beyond the cliffs, distant stars flickered, as if answering the call. But in the same moment, miles away, inside the colonial base, alarms began to blare. Energy surge detected. Origin unknown. Locate and capture immediately. Cole clenched his fists. Guess the whole damn world's coming for us now. Sierra looked at him, her expression calm but fierce. Then let them come. For the first time, we are not alone. The night sky of New Terra had never looked so alive. Stars flickered like candles in a storm, and faint trails of silver light streaked across the heavens. Signals, messages, something ancient stirring after long silence. Cole Danner stood at the tunnel mouth, his eyes fixed on the horizon. He didn't understand what he was seeing, but his heart beat faster anyway. Behind him, the air shimmered faintly, filled with the hum of energy. Sierra sat near the baby, whose light had grown stronger and calmer, no longer wild, no longer trembling. It pulsed gently, like it finally knew it wasn't alone. Cole turned toward her. You said he was calling your people. You sure they're even still alive out there? Sierra looked up. Not sure, but the light is never wrong. It connects us all, even across stars. Cole sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. If that's true, then we're gonna have company real soon, and not the friendly kind. As if to answer his words, a distant rumble rolled through the desert. Engines, hundreds of them. Far away, the Colonial Enforcement Division prepared its assault. In the command center, bright holograms showed the canyon's layout. Subject confirmed, barked Commander Jalen, his metal arm reflecting the blue lights. Energy readings spiking from Sector 7, the alien child is active. A soldier saluted. Sir, reports indicate multiple unknown signals approaching from orbit. Jalen's expression hardened. Then we strike before they get here. Deploy ground troops and drone wings. No survivors. The hum of war machines filled the air. In the tunnels, Cole loaded his revolver again, though it barely mattered now. They'll be here soon, he muttered. We'll need to move. Sierra looked at him with calm eyes. We can't run anymore, Cole. Every step we take brings more blood. My people, your people, we're both running from the same fear. He frowned. Fear don't care who it kills. Sierra stood, her expression fierce and strange. Then we make it care. Cole raised an eyebrow. You talk like you plan on facing him head on. She nodded. Yes, but not with weapons, he scoffed. Lady, they've got rifles, armor, and a commander who'd burn this planet just to feel tall. You got a baby and a prayer? Sierra smiled faintly. And light. Don't forget that. As the night deepened, the tunnel filled with a strange sound, in a soft chorus of humming voices. Cole spun around, gun ready, but froze when he saw what emerged from the shadows. Figures, dozens of them. Some tall, some small, each glowing faintly blue or silver. Their eyes shimmered like mirrors, reflecting the starlight. They moved quietly, gracefully, their feet barely touching the ground. Sierra gasped. They came. One of the figures stepped forward, an older alien with deep lines carved across his glowing face. Daughter of Lear, he said, his voice like wind through glass. We heard the child's cry. The seed of the light still lives. Sierra bowed her head. Elder Kareth! I thought you were gone. Many were, but some of us hid. waiting for the one who would awaken the light again. His gaze turned to the baby. So small, and yet he carries the hope of our world. Cole stood awkwardly at the side. Glad y'all showed up. But we got a problem coming fast, and they ain't looking to talk. Kareth's silver eyes focused on him. You are the human who carries the bond. Cole blinked. Guess that's me. You stand between two kinds, the elder said. Perhaps it is time one heart spoke for both. Cole rubbed his jaw. I ain't no politician. No, Kareth said softly. You are better. You are human and still capable of mercy. Outside, the desert exploded with fire. The first drone squadron arrived, scanning the ridge with red lasers. Behind them, armored transports rolled over the sand. The night turned into chaos. Beams, dust, and metal wings cutting through the wind. The aliens inside the cave began to hum in unison, their energy rising. The air vibrated, glowing brighter with every note. Sira stood in the center, holding her baby high. No fighting, she said firmly. Only light. Cole stared at her like she was crazy. You're gonna sing at him? She looked at him. No. We're going to remind them what they are. The first soldiers reached the tunnel mouth. They raised their rifles and froze. From inside came a beam of soft blue light, not like fire, not like weapon glow, but like dawn itself. It washed over the desert, gentle and warm. Cole shielded his eyes. What the hell is this? The light spread outward, touching metal, rock, and even the soldiers themselves. When it touched their armor, it didn't burn. It melted away the rage inside. Some soldiers lowered their weapons, blinking in confusion. What's happening? One whispered. Sira's voice echoed through the light. You were born from the same dust as we were. You build, you dream, you destroy, but you can still choose the first two. Her words carried power. Not magic, not command, but truth. The baby's glow expanded, fusing with the alien's song. The air trembled, and the ground itself seemed to breathe. Cole felt the warmth spread through him again. His fear dissolved, replaced by something deep and calm, hope. In the command center, alarms blared. Sir, the energy wave's expanding, shouted a technician. It's not a weapon, it's rewriting neural patterns. Commander Jalen slammed his fist on the console. Fire everything, now! Missiles launched from the carriers, streaking toward the ridge. But as they entered the light, they disintegrated into harmless sparks. Cole looked up in awe. They can't touch us, Sira nodded. Light protects what it understands. Minutes passed like hours. When the glow finally dimmed, silence fell across the desert. The soldiers stood motionless, confused, dazed, but alive. The drones hovered quietly, their sensors offline. Cole turned to Sira. You stopped a war, she smiled softly. No, the light did. It only needed someone to carry it. He looked down at the baby, now asleep again, peaceful and small. Guess he did more saving today than all of us. Sira touched Cole's shoulder. Not just him. You too. Without your heart, the light would never have stayed. Cole didn't know what to say. He just nodded, looking out over the quiet desert, the sky clearing above them. For the first time in a long time, the stars didn't feel so far away, but far above, orbiting New Terra. A dark ship drifted in silence, its metal hull blacker than space itself. Inside, shadowed figures watched the scene unfold on their monitors. One of them leaned forward. So the light has awakened again, he said coldly. Then we will come for it ourselves. And deep below, unaware of what was watching, Cole and Sira stood side by side under the dawn, knowing that peace had only bought them time. The desert lay quiet again, silver under the dawn. The air was still warm from the light that had washed across it. The battle that never truly became a battle. Cole Danner stood at the ridge, looking over the land that moments ago had almost become ashes. The soldiers were gone. The drones lay dead in the sand, their red eyes dark. And yet inside him, Cole felt a strange pull, a whisper in his veins, the same energy that had connected him to the baby. It was calm now, but restless, like it knew something else was coming. Behind him, Sira was cradling her sleeping child. The other aliens, the survivors who had answered the call, stood silently, their eyes glowing with quiet gratitude. They had survived, but Cole knew peace like this never lasted. He turned to Sira. You feel it too, don't you? Sira nodded slowly. Yes, something dark is moving above us. Far above, in the black void of orbit, the obsidian arc drifted silently, a massive ship from the old human fleets, long thought destroyed. Inside, machines hummed and screens flickered with symbols not meant for human eyes. At the center of the command deck stood a man, or what was left of one, Commander Jalen. Half his face was metal now, scorched from the failed strike on the canyon. His eyes glowed faint red as he watched the feed from a surviving drone. "The alien light interfered with our tech," said one of his officers nervously. It rewrote the drone's circuits." Jalen's mechanical hand clenched. "Then we'll burn it out of the flesh that carries it." "Prepare the orbital cannon." "But sir, do it!" On the surface, Cole felt the ground tremble again. The morning sky darkened as the shadow of the Ark passed over them. A sound like thunder echoed across the desert, deep, metallic, and final. Sira gasped. "They're going to strike from orbit." Cole's eyes narrowed. "How big?" She closed her eyes, sensing it. Big enough to turn this valley into glass. The aliens around them began to panic. The child stirred, glowing faintly in Sira's arms. Cole grabbed his hat and looked up at the dark shape above. "Guess we're out of time." Sira turned to him, desperate. "We can't run. The blast will reach everywhere." "Then we don't run," Cole said. "We fight it." Sira's eyes widened. "You can't fight an orbital cannon, Cole." He looked down at his glowing hands. "Maybe not alone." The light inside him pulsed stronger, reacting to the fear in the air, to the child's energy. Cole felt his body warming. Every heartbeat faster, every breath sharper. He could feel the same power that had protected them before building again. Brighter, hotter. Sira saw it too. "Cole, you're changing." "Don't matter," he said. "If I can draw that fire away from you and the kid, that's all that counts." "No," she said fiercely, stepping closer. "The light doesn't want sacrifice, it wants balance. If you burn alone, it dies with you." He smiled faintly. "Then maybe it's time it learned a little human stubbornness." The sky roared as the cannon charged. Lightning danced across the clouds and a crimson beam began forming, focused right on their valley. Cole turned to the group. "Get underground. All of you, now." Sira shook her head. "I'm not leaving you. You've got a kid who needs you, lady." "That's reason enough." Tears filled her silver eyes. "Please don't step into that light. It's death." He touched her cheek gently, smiling. "Ain't stepping into it. I'm just taking it somewhere else." She gripped his hand, trembling. "Cole," he tipped his hat. "Take care of the little one for me." Then he turned and walked toward the open desert. The beam fired. A pillar of red light screamed down from the heavens, scorching the sky, tearing through clouds. Cole lifted his arms and the blue light inside him exploded outward, merging with the desert wind, wrapping around him like a storm. The two lights met, red and blue, in a blinding flash that split the world. Sira covered her child, crying out his name. The other aliens shielded their eyes. The air rippled. The earth itself shuddered under the collision of two powers, destruction and life. For a moment there was no sound. Only light, endless and pure. And in that light, Cole saw everything. He saw Earth burning and reborn. He saw Sira's world broken and healing. He saw the faces of people, human and alien, laughing, crying, hoping. The light whispered to him, "Are you willing?" He smiled through the pain. "Yeah. Reckon I am." The beam curved upward. The red energy that had meant to destroy the valley bent in the air, pulled skyward by the storm of light inside him. It struck the Ark instead. From orbit, Commander Jalen's eyes widened as alarms blared. What's happening?" "Energy reversal, sir." "The beam's coming back." Before he could move, the light engulfed the Ark. The ship cracked like glass, and a second later it was gone, vaporized into a burst of blue fire that lit the whole sky. On the surface, silence returned. The wind brushed softly through the canyon, carrying with it the faint scent of ozone. The aliens looked up, awed. The dark ship was gone, but Cole was gone too. Sira stood at the edge of the ridge, the baby glowing softly in her arms. "Cole?" She whispered, no answer. Only the fading shimmer of light drifting in the wind, like starlight falling to earth. She felt warmth touch her cheek, and when she looked down, the child was smiling. The glow in his tiny hands shaped itself for a moment, the outline of a man's hat, before fading. Tears ran down her face, but she smiled through them. "He's free now," she whispered. He became the light. Years passed. The colony changed. Humans and aliens worked side by side again. rebuilding what was lost. And sometimes when the night was quiet and the desert wind blew across the plains, people said they saw a faint blue glow walking among the stars, like a cowboy still watching over them. Sierra's child grew strong, carrying both her kindness and Cole's courage. When he asked about the old stories, she would smile and say, he was just a man, a stubborn, reckless human man. But he carried the light when no one else would. And somewhere in the endless dark between worlds, the stars burned a little brighter, because one man from a forgotten desert had reminded the universe what being human truly meant.